we'll look at the relevant part of the legislation for you now as trainers and assessors. So by double-clicking in the standards for registered training organisations, that's the one that's applied to you there, you usually would find, just by going to the bottom of your computer screen there, you would see that PDF icon. You can click on it and bring it up. Now, I've specifically brought it up to the right part of the legislation. You might just have to scroll through your document. So, Standard 1.13 relates directly to trainers and assessors. So, the RTO that you work for must ensure that the trainers and assessors training and assessment is delivered by people who have current vocational competencies, at least to the level being delivered. So the example I'll give you is somebody that trains and assesses in a senior first aid certificate. So if you are Joe Bloggs off the street and you've got your TAE, your Certificate 4 in Training and Assessment, that's not enough. You can't just walk in and deliver any type of training package. You can only deliver training that you have work experience in, paid professional work experience in. So the the Senior First Aid Certificate, you would at least need that qualification to be able to then train in Senior First Aid certificates yourself. Okay, at least to that level. Most senior first aid certificates, because we're talking about life and death of a human being, tends to be best practice that it's delivered at least by a paramedic who would have far greater qualifications and very deep-reaching vocational experience in very severe life and death situations. Okay, so that's what A is all about there. Now, B is that your RTO ensures that the trainers and assessors maintain their current industry skills. So it wouldn't be satisfactory for an RTO to say to a guy that was a paramedic 20 years ago that you go and get your Certificate 4 in Training and Assessment. As soon as you've got your training and assessment skills, you can come and do first aid for me. It has to be current vocational experience and skills. A paramedic from 20 years ago wouldn't have the experience with the modern equipment. You know, innovation happens all of the time. The defibrillators, for example. So you would need to be continually proving that you've maintained very recent current skill sets, and that you're still within the industry, that you're attending professional development, having ongoing training. So as soon as a new piece of equipment comes out in first aid, you know how to work it. You know how to teach that and tell people about that. I mean, gosh, whenever I do my senior first aid certificate, they always seem to change how many breaths to how many pumps, and now we're not doing breaths, we're just pumping on the chest. And you know, I mean, you can see that as more and more scientific research and data is being collected, they're continually improving for best practice. So that's why it's important that you know your Industry Skills Council. And I'm just going to digress here for a moment. I'm going now to the Industry Skills Council webpage. So there's approximately half a dozen different industry skills councils. We'll have a quick look at those. Agri-food skills, auto skills, so for mechanics. So if you were a mechanic and you'd got your Certificate 4 in Training and Assessment and you wanted to teach whatever the national accredited qualifications are in mechanics, you would then maintain your professional development and all of your best practices and all the latest equipment and auto drills and etc. You would get all of that information with the Auto Skills Australia, and there'd be a lot of training package resources from there. Community services and health industry, construction and property, energy, forest works, government. Now, IBSA, that's the one where we've sourced a lot of our original training information from. So when we go onto the training.gov.au website, IBSA, the Innovation and Business Skills Australia Industry Council, developed the training packages for the TAE qualifications. Manufacturing skills, so a lot of those competitive systems and practices type qualifications. You can get training package information from there, but it's not just resources for trainers and assessors that the RTO needs to purchase. It's for trainers and assessors to, be able to register with their industry council and make sure that they're attending any current professional development for best practices in their industry. Service skills, so that's your hospitality. Skills DMC, so that's your mining sector. So yeah, as you can see, it's important then, in order to maintain your currency, that you're aware of your industry skills council, that you're attending your professional development, that you're accessing the latest in training package resources for your nationally recognised qualification and training that you're teaching. And it's really still the responsibility of your registered training organisation to ensure that you are current. But, just be aware that you've got to assist them in that process. Now, here at Evoke, and you usually find for ASQA audits in a lot of RTOs, we actually have to maintain a professional development log. So any training that our assessors have actually gets entered into a special document, and any certificates of attendance also gets scanned into that as well for our ASQA audits. So that's the first part of your responsibilities as a trainer and assessor. Now we're going to look at 1.14, which talks about qualifications. So, this is actually spreading out between 2016 and into 2017, but the bottom line is from the 1st of January 2016, training and assessment is delivered only by people who have a certificate for in training and assessment. So you can actually buzz on past all of the standards down to Schedule 1, and under item 1 and 2 you'll see that it requires, I better just do that for you so you can believe me. There's Schedule 1, so item 1, item 2. So from the 1st of January 2016, trainers and assessors delivering nationally recognised training must have a TAE 40110, which is the one you're doing now, or something higher like the diploma levels, okay?